Michelle Joy Phelps, and I am joined now with Carl Froch, who is here at the weigh-in for the Joshua and Molina. How are you, sir? Looking dapper.
Thank you. Paul Smith.
Nice.
Not the boxer.
I was just going to say what. You look very nice. So how have you been? How are things?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
I saw a lot of banter going on between you and Gennady Golovkin. What's all that about?
There was only two tweets. Eddie Hearn and Tom Loaf of Bread started it. And then it went on from there, but I just responded to one of his silly tweets telling me that I'd not done anything and I'm a clown, blah, blah, blah. I think there's a language barrier there. I think there's a misunderstanding of the interpretation of certain words. Right. Without giving him any stick, his Kazakhstan and his English is very limited. So when his banter's flawed, but I just set him straight, told him to fight somebody. He hasn't fought anybody, in my opinion.
Would you return, Carl?
No.
No.
No point in returning. I've got no desire for the game anymore.
Yeah. Does anybody in the middleweight division beat Gennady Golovkin right now?
I think Chris Eubank Jr. gives him a very, very good fight. He's very tough and fit. He's got a high work rate. And Gennady Golovkin gets hit. It's not like he doesn't get hit. So, provided Jr. can withstand the punch power of Golovkin, which is looking quite heavy-handed through his career. If he can withstand the punch power, then he wins on points.
Right. Should he move up in weight?
I think
Do you think that he's at that point where he should just move up?
I think he's talking a lot of nonsense, and he's talking so much, and his team around him are giving him such a big ego. It's all talk because he's not got anybody on his resume that says, yeah, this guy is world class. He is a legend. He is, he's potentially a Hall of Famer. There's nobody there that stands out on his resume. So he needs to box somebody, fight somebody that he can say, right, that's a great win.
Do you think that's his fault, or do you think it's that people don't want to fight Gennady Golovkin?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. But, if he can't get the fight at middleweight, many fighters before him have stepped up from middle to super middle to make their career better. David A stepped up from cruiserweight to heavyweight and made a fantastic career of himself. The fighters over the years, top middleweights, I'm not going to go through the big list, we know who they are, stepping up to super middleweight and even light heavyweight to become world champions. So Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion, should step up to super middleweight and fight a couple of the big names at super middleweight. And if he really wants to show everybody how great he is, fight Andre Ward. I'm sure Andre Ward will accommodate him at super middle. And I think it's an easy night's work.
He actually said he wouldn't move. He wouldn't go back down now.
Who, Ward?
Ward said that.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I guess the time has already passed. The opportunity was there, and it didn't happen. And so now he's just, moving on with his career. He's not waiting around for anyone.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just want to make something clear. Gennady Golovkin is a fantastic fighter. He's a great talent. He's had an unbelievable amateur pedigree. He knocked out Lucian Butte, he beat Andre Durrell, two fighters that I've shared the ring with as a professional. And he made mincemeat of them. He did really, really well. Just unbelievable. The photo bomb there by Johnny Nelson, trying to ruin the interview. Do you want me to put a shot into him? So he's a great talent. And as a professional, I'm sure he can be equally as good.
Right.
No one really wants to give him a chance or fight him because they're probably worried about getting beat. But, it's time for him to take the bull by the horns, move up, and fight a couple of super middleweights. Let's see it.
Gennady Golovkin, Canelo, who do you think wins that?
Probably Golovkin. Canelo, again, small.
Do you think that's why Canelo won't face him?
It's possible. I don't know Canelo personally, and I don't know what his team's like around him, but he looks like a guy who's not really too worried about getting involved in a fight. He looks like the kind of guy that wants a fight, and Golovkin, I think, will happily oblige. So that's a fight that he can win, but it's a really tough one for Canelo against someone like Golovkin, but one I think he can win. I think if you're going to blame somebody for that fight not happening, you've got to blame Canelo, because Golovkin just seems happy and willing to face anybody in the middleweight or smaller. He's happy to fight Kell Brook and say how great a fight it is, and it's a mismatch in terms of weight, and he's happy to fight any other middleweight, and his team are happy to say that he's the best thing since Sugar Ray Leonard and Sugar Ray Robinson. But he's not prepared to say, you know what, there's no fights at middleweight. I'm going to step up to 12 stone and I'm going to show how great I am.
Right.
And he wasn't prepared to come and fight me at super middleweight. And that's all I'm going to say on that. The opportunity was there to fight me at 168 and he wasn't prepared to come up to 168. And that's why the fight didn't happen.
Your former opponent, Andre Ward, faced Sergey Kovalev, becoming, to many, the pound-for-pound best at the moment. What was your take on the whole fight in the first place? Because a lot of people felt, I think everyone was pretty split. Some people felt that Kovalev did just enough by knocking him down. and then others felt that Andre edged it.
I watched it on my mobile phone in a nightclub in Punta Cana at the end of a poker match that I'd been playing till about 3 in the morning, and I had a couple of oversized Jack Daniels, and I was watching it, and I was trying to have a good night, and I just thought I need to have a look, and I saw Ward get put down quite heavy, and I thought, oh dear, he's in trouble here. Then all I saw for the next 7, 8, 9 rounds was Andre Ward doing his usual nullifying tactics, leaning on Kovalev. I didn't think Kovalev did enough to force the fight, didn't land enough shots, and Andre Ward stunk the gaff out again. I just thought that it was a boring, horrible fight to watch. My prediction before the fight, and you can probably find the interview somewhere, when I was asked who wins the fight, I said Andre Ward wins the fight in an ugly, horrible, boring fight, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was ugly, horrible and boring, apart from the round 3 knockdown, which was a very good shot from Kovalev, and Andre Ward showed a lot of powers of recovery and a lot of bottle to get up and carry on, but he nullified Kovalev. He made it ugly and it was horrible, and I don't want to see a rematch. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want to see a rematch.
Right. And lastly, we had a lot of drama happen this past week.
To answer your question, because I didn't answer your question, I think the fight should have been a draw.
So did I. That's exactly what I said.
That would have been a fair result.
That's what I said. Yeah, I agree with you. But lastly, we had a lot of drama this week with Chisora and Dylan White. Do you think that what happened was good for boxing because it promoted the fight, or do you think that it was bad for boxing based on their behavior?
I think there's a word called disrepute, and sometimes when you do bring your sport into disrepute, it's bad for the game, because people are looking into the boxing. People that don't follow boxing then get a glimpse of boxing, and they see a table getting thrown across, and they see some verbal abuse, and it's aggressive and it's not nice, and it's not good for the sport. To answer your question, it brings promotion to the sport, but it's negative promotion.
Right.
We don't need that kind of behaviour within our sport. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of the fighters this day and age, they've always got one eye on pay-per-view, and they're thinking, if I'm getting a percentage of the pay-per-view, I can try and drive the sales a little bit. I'm going to make money, and we don't fight for love, we fight for money. And if you're going to get more of a purse if you cause a bit of problems. And people say to me, was it all a wind-up, you and George Groves, did you really dislike him? And it seems to me like a ridiculous question, because when it's genuine, the people know it's genuine. And when it's a little bit pantomime, people can see through it. And
I think you could see that these two genuinely hate each other.
Like each other, but sometimes there's no need for certain things that happen.
Right.
And like the Tony Bellew, David Haye stuff, it's just a bit, you don't really need to go down that route. It's already quite an exciting fight without making it a pantomime at ringside.
So who wins that fight for you?
I think David Haye's probably just ahead, because at heavyweight he's a really big puncher and he throws heavy shots. But if Tony Bellew gets David Haye past round 3 and past round 4 into the mid to late rounds, I think David Haye might be in trouble. We don't know what David Haye's got left since his shoulder operation and since his fight with Klitschko, which is getting on for, is it 4 years ago? By the time that fight happens, it's a long time when he's actually been in a fight.
Right.
So if Tony Bellew at cruiserweight, who's unbeaten at cruiserweight and world champion and riding his crest of a wave, he's loving life, he's enjoying earning money now, he's getting the fruits of his labour, he's world champion, is he going to let David Haye come in and just bang him out with one shot? I don't think so. I think Bellew now can soak up a bit of punishment at cruiserweight, give as good as he gets, that left hook, that bomber right hand. I think he's got a massive chance. Close fight. Smart money's on David Haye. We're going to have to wait and see, aren't we?
Right. David Haye has been doing a lot of talking about Anthony Joshua, and he says he definitely wants that fight. Right now, who wins that?
I think right now, because I've not seen enough of David Haye, and look at the size and shape and mindset. He's got Rob McCracken in his corner now, and I know what he's training like. I know how meticulous he is, and the sheer size and weight advantage. And I make comparisons with that size and weight to Klitschko, and we saw David Haye couldn't do anything with Klitschko. And I've said it to his face on Sky, and I think it upset him a little bit, but it's just what I think. I just think that the dimensions are all wrong for David Haye. He's a great fighter, and if he catches Anthony Joshua early on with a shot, he's going to hurt him, and that could be the end of it for Joshua. But I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I think Joshua's just too big and too strong and too professional to get involved in a cat fight with David Haye early on and come unstuck. I just think he boxes and moves, uses his weight and size and reach. But what an exciting fight, because David Haye's going to come out round 1, throw that big right hand until he lands it, and then we're going to see what happens when he lands it. David Haye might go in there and wipe the floor with him. You know what I mean?
Let the experience do the talking.
Yeah, exactly. But are we going to see it? We don't know. We'll see David Haye against Bellew. Tony Bellew might end David Haye's hopes and dreams. Look forward to that one in March.
Do you think that Tony's going to just go right back down to cruiserweight after that?
I think he'll definitely go back down to cruiserweight belly. Yeah, he's doing really well at cruiserweight. So
Cruiserweight division's booming right now too. Did you watch Denis Lebedev versus Marat Gassiev's fight?
I did, yeah. It's a difficult division. It's a tough division. Just give me 1 second. Carl, am I on Sky now? I think they're waiting for me on Sky, so we're going to have to wrap this.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Michelle.
All right, bye-bye, fans. Hey, fight fans, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you go ahead and do so because Behind the Gloves is worldwide with our coverage. All you have to do is click this little link right here.